Comics League Legendary Gaming. I am Jared. I am here with Taladia Plays. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me on again to do some heckling and just to see you fail on some Wonder Woman gaming.
Exactly. So, we are here on the battlefield in, I believe it's pronounced Magaris. So apparently I'm supposed to help the Spartans undermine the Athenians. So, okay, dope. This should be easy enough. So let's find some stuff that I can mess with. On the battlefield in, I believe it's pronounced so let's see. All right. And if you guys are in the chat, go ahead and like outline your favorite Wonder Woman stories. Let's go. Let's do this. So let's see. What do I want to do first?
You've got audio.
I do. Oh, okay, good. So you're saying they can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So what should I do? Let's see. What can I do to screw around with the Athenians first? It's a bounty hunter, but that's not really a thing. I can go take out a leader. Let's go do that. Wonder Woman is now an assassin.
Could be one of Stentor's scouts.
No, well,
Looks like
he's
she's right.
Guys, remember to hit the like button, guys, and
yes,
get Jared
and
up.
share the stream out.
What business is it of yours, Mistios?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about this?
Let me make sure I retweet your stream. 1 second.
I'm a professional and a friend.
But what's that supposed to mean?
If it had been me, I'd have been smart enough to try and hide the evidence.
Fair point. Whoever did this was brazen and foolish, leaving it to be so easily discovered.
Or they wanted to send a message. Stentor sent me. I'm here to help wherever I can.
Stentor sent you?
Sparta doesn't fully control Megaris yet. It's easier for me to move freely in certain areas of Megaris than a Spartan.
The Athenians have proven more resilient here than expected. But they will not
Before
stand.
Sparta, yes. I've heard the speeches. But until that glorious day comes, we should find out what happened here.
Do you have any ideas?
Not yet.
Oh
But I
god, so
will.
now I'm doing an Arkham Knight style
I should get a closer look to
investigation
figure out what
scene.
happened here. These were professional soldiers.
So,
Slaughtered to a
this is
man.
the only acceptable
I don't
version of
think bandits could have done
Wonder
this.
Bat where she has to solve a crime.
Ah, God.
By the way, speaking
Wonder-
of Batman, that whole
have gone far,
Cape
though.
Crusader show is dead on
Didn't just
arrival, I
cards.
get a feeling.
Looks
Because
like
they started,
went
because
this
now
way.
Bruce Tim is pulling a
Into the
Bruce Tim and
forest.
he's changing
Don't think I'll find
Harvey
anything else.
Dent's
I should report
origin,
back.
so I'm like, why?
So was it the Athenians?
I found...
Bandits then. The mountains here.
Gonna do that.
If it was Athenians, they would have taken...
What are you saying?
I'm not sure.
do this.
Whoever did this went into...
So now I get to go track people. Alright, sweet. Alright, so let me go to Eagle mode.
Atkinson says, Jared, have you seen the recent Wonder Woman game leaks?
I have. They look pretty good. They look very, from what, let me put it this way. From what has been leaked, the game looks pretty damn good. Now, as we all know, what gets leaked out and what the finished product is can be very different and thus kind of sour the experience. That's why I'm saying, so far it looks good.
Is this a private gathering? Or can anyone join?
What are you? Please, please just leave.
Or did I just
You don't look like
find
martyrs.
some
Was
hostages?
that the
Oh
Spartans'
yeah.
mistake?
What? Wait!
Oh,
no!
yeah.
Please! You don't understand!
Make sure you don't fall.
What's to understand? It all seems perfect.
Why would I fall? I'm on solid ground.
Please!
Well, you fell. You
Let
fell.
me
Nearly
plead
fell
our
in
case.
off the
You'd
cliff
better
or
tell me
whatever.
why I shouldn't
Well, I'm not
just
accurate,
kill
so
you
I should be
and return
good.
the
Besides,
goods.
Wonder Woman can
Please.
fly.
I'll tell you anything you want to know.
But not in this game.
Enough! I didn't come
She
here.
is
doesn't have the
immortal in
invisible
this game,
Too
though.
late for talk now.
But she doesn't
I
have an
came to find
invisible
who's
jet,
behind this crime
unfortunately.
against
Ah,
Sparta.
dang it.
Stand aside. You don't need to die today. I'm returning the supplies to the Spartans.
Then you will do so over our dead bodies.
Don't be stupid. Take some of the food, enough to get by. I'll say I killed you and claimed what was left. They will be satisfied.
But the food! What of our families?
Your families will not benefit from your death. Accept my offer and
Oh
don't
god.
steal
This
again.
is complicated.
It
I
won't be
really hope
me
I don't
who
have to
comes
kill these
for you
people
next
because I don't
time.
think I can take all these people.
Yes.
Atchison says I have a feeling
Thank you.
that the gameplay will be
Hurry,
decent, but the
take what you can
the
carry and
story
go.
will be bad.
Why do you think that, Atchison? That's an
Thank
interesting
God they
opinion.
didn't try to fight. I wasn't in the mood to kill starving civilians today.
Because I mean, I think either way could be good. The problem is, yeah, I get what they're doing because it's a Wonder Woman game. You know, they could put a lot of ideology stuff in there instead of making a straight up Wonder Woman action game, which it should be. But we'll see on what the actual story is.
Did you find the ones responsible?
I found your supplies with a bunch of hungry Megarians.
And?
You stole that food.
The supplies were essential for the war and ridding Megara of the Athenians.
They didn't do this alone.
Don't worry yourself further. The guilty have paid for their...
Yay, I won. So let's go assassinate that leader. Oh, there's a wolf coming at me. I'm not going to kill it. I can use a pelt. Oh, it's a bounty hunter.
He says, Atchison says I have very little faith in the writers.
One sec, I just have to pause the game.
Okay.
Just have to send this quick text. Alright, here we go. Alright, here we go.
Why do you have very little faith in the writers' actions then?
I get what he's saying with like everything that went on with like Suicide Squad and such. I could see why he would be a little upset. I can kind of understand that.
But it's a completely different studio compared to Rocksteady.
Yeah, but a lot of the stuff is like... I understand it's different studios, but I mean, sometimes it could be some of the same writers and or consultants. Who just joined?
I'm Batman.
Oh no.
Oh no.
The old man in the sea has joined us.
Since I don't know your soundboard, I'll just do this.
Okay.
How goes a young whippersnapper?
Oh good, I'm just slaughtering Athenians. Now I have to kill this leader, which I can do simply like this. This is Sparta! This is
So,
Sparta!
You don't need to say that.
Yes, I do! I do need to say. So Nick, how about Bruce Timm changing everything about like Harvey Dent and such?
Am I allowed to swear?
No.
Okay, I had to ask first for obvious reasons. What the duck?
I know. I'm like, this is Bruce Timm we're talking about, and I'm like, you wonder why I don't have faith in his abilities.
So have you already read the Assasins comments?
Yes, I have.
Alright, just making sure when I do.
So what do you? So Nick, have you seen the leaks about the Wonder Woman game?
No, I've seen the leaks about the Wolverine game, but what about the Wonder Woman one?
No, they just leaked a bunch of stuff about the story and such, which it looks pretty fun.
Let's just say Warner Brothers screwed up
How'd they screw up?
because they themselves leaked it and not.
Oh yeah, they sent it out as a survey to gamers and didn't think that was going to leak out.
Oh my god.
It even included concept art. But it looks fun from what I've seen of it. Plus, it's being made by the same studio that gave us like Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. So I'm like, okay, you know what? This is gonna be fun.
So there's hope.
There is
There
hope.
is
There's
hope.
free flow combat
Yeah.
and all that stuff. It's gonna be pretty dope.
Alright, all I know is I pretty much lost hope in the Wolverine game at this point.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'm gonna play my Wonder Woman game.
Tevia says hi.
Hey, what's up, Tev?
The Joseph Santos says, give us Lois Lane versus the Court of Owls so she can get her butt.
Yes! Yes, Joseph! Yes! That is correct.
Alright, and then Tevia says, I say screw the controversy.
Yeah. Watch they try and turn Lois Lane into a Talon, and then she gets rejected because she's Lois Lane. She's like, yeah, normally we pick people who are important, and you're not.
No. She gets a letter in the mail with official Court of Owls stationery, and it says, rejected on the count of being lame.
Yes.
Cameron actually put,
And then Cameron says, why did I actually think this was a Wonder Woman?
Well, technically it is, Cameron. If you look at Cassandra's armor, it's called Amazonian.
Then Tevia says, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would.
He is a great.
Alright, then Atchison says, the Nemesis system doesn't really make sense in Wonder Woman games, since their villains already know who she is. I remember. I mean, they haven't said they're going to use the Nemesis system, because I think that's like owned by Warner Brothers. It's just by the same people who developed it. Jared,
No,
what do you think?
they said it's gonna have it.
Oh, okay.
I think really what that kind of is, like maybe like some of the enemies will be tracking her. Maybe there's gonna be like larger, like larger lieutenants of Cersei that are tracking her. That
Maxwell
essentially
Lord
can
will
find-
remember this.
Oh yeah. You could say he I see. I can't make a.
He's trying, guys. He's trying.
I can't get.
Like,
You try
you can say-
making a pun about a neck snapping.
well, he can
Dude.
say, life can be good, but you can just make it better.
See, Tevia could come up. See, Taladia could come up with a joke on the spot.
Did you just call him Tevia? Did you just old man it?
This won't be like
Yeah,
any
he
other
just
battle
old
I've
man
been
it.
a part
Old
of.
man.
Still, my point stands. Taladia could come up with a joke on the spot, but you can't. Get good scrub.
Well, you know what? At least he can differentiate between himself and Tevia.
Oh my god. So Cameron Bailey says, Nemesis system, I'm not a big video game guy, so I'm confused.
Someone explain.
Claudia, you got this one?
Yeah. So the Nemesis system basically
I'm ready
means
for war.
you face off against enemies, and those people will remember your actions in the game, and furthermore, you can make them into your allies, right? Potentially, right? In Shadow of Mordor, I think, because I haven't played Shadow of Mordor in a long time, so I have to go back and play that. From what I remember, is that I know that if you Tevia says, the nemesis system basically lets the enemies remember for you from the shadow mode.
Yeah. What they could even do with the Wonder Woman game is like Cersei has mind-controlled Amazons. You can like fight them and then like convert them back into being good Amazons. In other words.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they can use it.
Yeah. At least we know it's coming to next gen.
Which I'm going to be excited for. It's about time Diana's gotten a game, and I've said this before in the show. This game could be what repairs her, the reputational hit she suffered because of 1984. There's any... So really, even... I mean, as long as the game is fun to play, I think it's gonna be fine. And we already know it's not gonna be live service. They've straight up said it's single player.
Yeah, I think after Suicide Squad Bomb was bad, they're like,
well, don't. I think this game was like in development alongside Suicide Squad, so it's not like Suicide Squad bombs and then they could say no live service. But I know what you're saying there.
And then Cameron Bailey says, "Ooh, that's actually."
Yeah, and I think that plus they can use elements from it to like turn this. They can use kind of that to make like to turn it kind of into an RPG where like your choices don't depend on what ending you get.
Alright. And then Tevia says, I am also hoping for War Woman allies like the one of girls in the game.
I hope Superman shows up and there's a romance system.
Oh my god, I was waiting for that.
If that happens, oh god, if they have that, yes!
I already know you're asking for it. And then Cameron Bailey says, I hope Donna and Cassie are in this. They are so underrated.
Yeah, they kind of need to.
Us fighting Cheetah or...
yeah. I mean, Cheetah is confirmed to be a villain in the game, so we know she's going to be showing up.
You know what they should do, since Cheetah's a character that goes really fast? There should be a battle where they're both running down the highway and they need to like hit each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden Cheetah uses chaos control.
Oh, you mean, and then someone named Nick from the Phoenix Press can fail a bunch of times?
Yeah,
maybe even turn around and go off the stage?
I need another boss level that I can play horribly.
I mean, at least it's not as bad as a flying, I'm just saying.
Claudia Pancake.
Yes, always remember the time Taladia was swinging Spider-Man and just pancaked right into the side of a building.
Yes, I may be bad, but Claudia is no better.
Nick can't drive, just saying.
You can't swing.
Which, Taladia, that's kind of the point of Spider-Man!
Alright, I'm gonna better sit down with you. Except the game is an RPG, so romance wouldn't be complicated.
No, don't be
Have
so...
you played RPGs? Have you played any RPGs?
Tevia, non-RPGs have a romance option as well. It's not like a straight-up RPG. It's not like it has to be a Dragon's Age style or whatever RPGs. Mass Effect 3 is not an RPG, yet still has RPG elements.
As Cassie's my favorite Wonder Girl. I hope she makes an appearance or is playable.
She won't be playable, but I'm sure she'll make an appearance. And by my favorite Wonder Girl is Donna.
Jared, could you try not getting hit for once?
Yeah.
But how would I get a good blood effect on Wonder Woman?
Oh God! All right, Cameron Bailey says so. It's one thing I'm fearing. Did they say this?
Standalone. Standalone.
It's not connected to the Arkhamverse.
Yeah, that's good. Then Tevia says true.
Yeah.
We shall be up to him in a moment.
Look up there.
With respect,
is the bird?
Is
the plane?
What?
Why
it's Wonder Woman's future husband.
Why is that guy shirtless just for a helmet?
Understand why?
Because he's a Spartan. Haven't you seen 300?
Not as many times as you.
Very well.
Yeah.
We know you like oiled up shirtless dudes in your movies.
Yeah, well, at least I can play Sonic Adventure 2.
Other matters to attend to.
I love your retort, brother. Keep them going. Cameron Bailey says, "Oh, thank God." I think that's in response to like the standalone thing.
Yeah, it's 100% standalone. So any member of the Justice League could show up. Plus, here's the thing. Let's say they don't want to make any more games in the Arkhamverse, or like, here's what they could do. If the Wonder Woman game is big, they can use that to make the Justice League game. That way they don't have to use the Arkham Justice League, and they can just make Batman games.
Know me. You know me, I've been saying this for some time. They needed to just, like, ditch the Arkhamverse and start fresh, because there's too much baggage with it.
Yeah, and my retort was always previously, but they still should make a Justice League game, but the problem is, you are right, you had the baggage from Suicide Squad, but if the Wonder Woman game is popular and they decide to launch it from that can really help.
Yeah, I think Tevia's comment is good kind of extension of this conversation we're having. Tevia says, question, do you think the Arkhamverse is dead at this point after Suicide Squad?
Prequels, they'll make prequels, they'll make prequels.
Personally, I think it's dead, but you guys are welcome to think differently.
As a Spartan.
And then sorry, Claudia, go ahead.
I was gonna say the Arkhamverse isn't dead yet, because they're still making a prequel for Arkham, which is Arkham Shadow, which is the VR.
One more thing I'll add is, so we heard that Rocksteady pitched a single player game. If that, let's say that game comes out and bombs, then I'd say the Arkhamverse is dead. 100%.
All right.
I can't change the past.
Claudia, anything else you want to add before I move on to the next comment?
Yeah, I'll just say this, that Warner Brothers is still going to continue on with the Arkhamverse, because they know that Rocksteady will make a single player game, and they'll expect them to make that money back. And the VR game is an Arkham game, which is Arkham Shadow, so just remember that.
Yeah, personally, I think the Arkhamverse is in borrowed time, but we can disagree to disagree on that part. So Atchison says, can someone explain why Enyo, Greek goddess of war and Ares' sister, has never made an appearance in Wonder Woman mythos, especially since Enyo always accompanies Ares when there is a conflict?
Probably because they like to pick like the most obvious, the most well-known Greek gods, because she hasn't even shown up in the Wonder Woman comics, which is really odd.
Yeah, you think oh, female character. You think like they'd be itching to use her.
I mean, they've used Ares' sons before, at least in the Rebirth run, back when the Rebirth run was good, aka the minute they kicked Greg Rucka to the curb, and he tried to launch a Lois Lane book, which failed because it's Lois Lane.
So Tevia says, time to pull a 300 to this guy.
No, I'm not gonna kill him. I'm trying to get the best ending.
All right. Cameron says Tevia smokes. It better be. And then Tevia again says, I say answers first before revenge.
Yes, and by the way, so I just found out he's my stepfather, so it's kind of, so for the second there I was like, wait, is this the Zeus origin?
Well, actually, he is your father's brother's cousin's best friend's former roommate.
What does that make us? Nothing!
No, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And then Tevia says that's true.
Beware the snakes in the grass, Cassandra.
I mean, I do know that in this game, she does become immortal.
I need to get out of here. I should head back to Varnavas.
And she ends up hanging out with Vikings, so this is even more like Wonder Woman. Can you imagine they did a Wonder Woman movie that started off in ancient Greece, and then Wonder Woman 2 was like Wonder Woman, but with the Vikings?
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Now that's that's an animated movie right there. Wonder Woman with Vikings.
They could call it God of War.
Yeah, exactly. And they can have a bald dude that's got like face paint on him. That's a former Spartan. That's never been done before.
Yeah, and then he could have his son Atreyu, who is actually the god Loki. Oh wait, sorry, we've already done this game.
Yeah, exactly. I hope the one.
Sorry, I had to give you crap.
Yeah,
All of her
I
costumes.
in terms of the costumes, Atchison, definitely her comic costumes will be like this way. If they have a costume changing system, which I'm sure they will, they'll have
pants.
yeah, they'll have the comic costumes. I could see them having like the brief new 52 ad that had pants. I could see her also them also having
I want the white jumpsuit bell bottom.
yeah, I'm sure they'll have that. I'm sure they'll have that. And I think that they'll also have the Gal Gadot suits, which those will be the ones I'll only wear besides the new 52 ones.
Can we have her like baggy 80s casual outfit from '84?
Why?
I will say this about Wonder Woman '84. There is one joke that I actually really respect, where like they're at an art museum and she's like, "Oh, what piece of modern art is this?" And she's like, "Oh, that's just a trash can."
That so many memes have come from that.
I'll give them respect for that 0.5 seconds of brilliance.
Exactly. So what's kind of cool about this game is that you can even customize the crew of your ship, and I have an all-female crew complete with Greek goddesses on my ship. So I pretty much went full Amazon.
Did you have Zack Snyder hire the crew?
I wish.
Alright, let's catch up with the comments. Ashton said he'd love a God of War animated series. Yeah,
Yes!
Then Tevye says, I'm surprised we never got a Wonder Woman animated movie about first sport. Like, and we have actually gotten Wonder Woman animated movies, and some of them are actually pretty decent.
No, they've all sucked. But in terms of first
The one with Nathan Fillion as Steve, I will say is good.
In terms of there's a very important, there's a very simple answer for that, Tevye. It's called the people running it hate the new 52.
If anyone has answers for you.
And then Ashton says, isn't the Gal Gadot suit literally her... Sorry, the heart is kind of like something like rebel or whatever.
Her rebirth. Kind of. Except the rebirth suit kind of vacillates a little bit. The knees are kind of different. I would like if they actually do a face scan of Gadot so I can actually have her face as well. That'd be fun.
My brother would still be alive.
And that way, I'm sure people are gonna mod it so you could have like Henry Cavill show up. I'm sure Superman will show up, and then Gal Gadot's face on the character, and then I can have Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill kiss.
Or even better, I pay for mods that the love interest is Batman, and
then I kill Batman.
And then there's a scene of Batman and Wonder Woman kissing, and I make it your wallpaper.
Well, you can't do that because I don't have a PC, dude. So I'll play this on console.
Lot of explaining to do.
And then Adjun says, dude, 2009 Wonder Woman is underrated. I actually agree with you,
No, it's
sir.
not. It's stupid and annoying as hell. Because here's why. Steve Trevor's a total a-hole, as he normally is, but it's distracting at this. He's like, oh, your daughter has a nice rack. I'm like, shut the hell up, dude!
Don't you dare say mean things about Nathan Fillion.
And nothing to do with Nathan Fillion. It has to do with the poor writing. And the fact that Wonder Woman barely affects the plot of that movie.
But they had Ares voiced by Alfred Molina.
I don't care. I don't care. Dude, that's like nostalgia armor, my friend. Nostalgia armor is why some people were calling The Flash the best movie since Dark Knight Returns. I mean, since the Dark Knight.
That movie came out like less than 2 years ago. Where's the nostalgia for that?
I'm saying the people were saying the Flash movie. Oh, remember back in the day when the Flash movie was coming out, and they said it's the best DC movie since Dark Knight. That's why. Nostalgia armor. Didn't Gail Simone...
Right.
Tevye says, didn't Gail Simone write that movie? That explains it!
And then Cameron Bailey asks, is there a possibility the other Amazons, like the Brazilians or the man, will be in this game?
Maybe. That's actually an interesting idea for, like, Yara Floor. By the way, Nick, did you hear the wonderful thing that Gail Simone tweeted? She said...
Gail Simone doesn't tweet wonderful things.
She tweeted, I would love to see a story where Wonder Woman throws her maxi pad at the villain.
Okay, that's just bait, and you bought it hook, line, and sinker.
No, it's just because...
No, you gotta realize, Gail Simone does those kind of tweets to get attention, and he fell for her ploy.
Well, here's the
Congratulations,
thing.
Al.
I didn't even interact with the tweet. I just cringed. And
We're talking about it right now. We're giving her.
I'm laughing at her, Nick. I'm laughing at her. I'm allowed to laugh at her.
You were still talking about.
I'm laughing at her, Nick. Drop it.
All right. Come on, guys. I don't need another headache.
Don't worry, we're still sailing half a ship.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, Gail Simone writing Wonder Woman, not so good. Even her Birds of Prey run, people have sent me stuff from that. It's a little cringe.
Her early 2000s Birds of Prey, I will defend.
Yeah, until you see the part where literally the entire team is like having basically an orgy with Cobblepot.
Yeah.
Like I said, she was a good writer, and I will defend that. Not anymore. Now she's a hack. But
That
her
was
early-
from that run, Nick.
What year?
I forget exactly what run what year that was. Jid can back me up on that more.
To be fair, I mostly read Nightwing in the 2000s.
Well, that explains it, because if you're reading the Nightwing, everything's good.
Yeah, I basically read the Chuck Dixon, Devin Grayson run.
There you go.
I did kind of come back towards the end of the Nightwing run during the Phil Hester run a little bit. My God, that was terrible.
How was Megaris?
I think it was like Peter D. Tomasi or whatever was writing it. It was.
Oh God, that man.
Yeah, he wrote up like the end of the original Nightwing run,
amount of
and then it kind of like languished for a few years because he was like Batman. And then in the New 52, he got a new Nightwing
You
run.
expected me to
I
haggle?
read like the first 12 issues of
Come
that,
now,
and it just
Sandra.
was not good.
I enjoyed
Every
it.
day I have someone kill their own father.
Atchison,
But he
Gail
wasn't
Simone is
really
definitely a
fine,
hack. Yes, thank
was
you.
he?
Why did you send me to kill Nikolaus?
Because I knew you could.
It's very much
Oh, why
like
him?
it's one of those
Because he was
things where a lot of
He would have taken
people hold her
Athens
up
in a
just
month,
because
two
it's
at
like
most.
again
But
nostalgia
stand-up
reasons.
doesn't have
Because the
the
problem
wolves
with
just
nostalgia, I find, is
You
that people
wanted to
excuse
save Athens?
obvious stuff that they
There's no
normally wouldn't
profit in a
excuse
quick
just
war.
because she wrote something I liked as a kid.
No, I know.
I'm not
It's a
excusing
lot
her
to take
recent
in all
stuff.
at once.
Though I do hear she still does write some decent stuff from time to time.
Sometimes.
Tell me, Miss Dios.
Yeah,
Did you learn
like,
That's very
when
rare.
running your dealings with
I think even we agreed, like her Conan Wonder Woman run.
That was great. That was
He mentioned
awesome.
Well, like I think we reviewed it or something. And
I did.
yeah,
I think I did once
mean?
back
You're
when I
going
had
to
Indie
bring
Wednesday
his
going.
head.
It's actually
Yeah.
You lost
one
your
of
mind?
my most viewed
killed the man
episodes.
who raised
By the
me.
way, Nick, our discussion of epilogue is like at over 700 views.
Malaka. You think
Are you
can
kidding
play
me?
with
It exploded past Tuesday.
disappointing.
Holy crap! What did we say that caught on?
There were some people that were like pissed off that apparently we didn't go into that much detail that they would have wanted, but I'm like, we only have like
What do they want us to go into detail on? I'm curious.
I forget exactly which. And someone is even saying we gave wrong information, but I'm like, no, we didn't.
What wrong information? Like, can they get specifics? Like,
They tried to. I deleted the comment because the person got a little mean.
okay. Now I kind of want to like go there and like respond to some comments.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Pinor snuck away like a coward. I should investigate his house.
Hey Nick. So now she is Arkham Batman.
Phoebe, you led him right to me.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's odd. I would argue we've passed George Perez. We haven't really gotten a fantastic Wonder Woman run.
I don't know. I do have to defend my man, Bill Mother Loeb.
That's good. That's good. It's not as good as the George Perez run.
He wants this war to go on forever.
George Perez, like his
I
Wonder
have
Woman
met
run
some treacherous people.
is kind of like the gold standard.
None of them
Like
compared with
if
Pinor.
George
I'm
Perez
going
is
to
a
look
10,
at every rock,
Bill Mother
every
Loeb's is
shadow
at least an 8
until
or
I
a 9.
find
I'll give you that. I'll
his
allow
house.
that. Yeah, and that is true 100%. Demigod, what did I get? Reach level 50! Yeah!
And also, like, there has to be, like, some good Wonder Woman runs in the late 90s, 2000s. Because it has been going on way too long. There has to be something that's good.
Azzarello and Finch had some good ones. The problem with the Azzarello run from, like, the New 52, it would have been better if they tied it into the overall DC universe. Because the problem is, with the Azzarello run, he largely kept it isolated.
So, Atchison says, sorry, I disagree. Azrael's Wonder Woman run is fantastic.
No, I like it, Atchison. Don't get me wrong. I really like it, particularly how it dealt with Greek myth. It's just my problem is that he kept it a little too separate from the overall DC world for my tastes. I still enjoy the run, for sure.
And then Atchison said, her New 52 run is legit the last run I enjoy.
Yeah, it's a good one, particularly when, like, Meredith and David Finch came on. They completely dominated. I love their run.
Alright, then Cameron Bailey asked a good question. What iteration of Themyscira would you all like to be in the game? I want the one where they swim out to the sailors' boats, have their fun, and then kill them all.
Okay, we're not doing that. Mine would probably be...
I want it to be shot Black Panther, Wakanda Forever style.
I honestly, in terms of the iteration of Themyscira, I would honestly say just go with the movie one, honestly. That's the one most people know if they've seen that movie.
Then Tevye says, also I hated New 52 Donna Troy. Connected to Finch's Wonder Woman because that was bad.
How is it bad, Tevye? How is it bad?
In Donna Troy's defense, DC has never known what to do with her.
Exactly.
Outside of what Marv Wolfman did, they've never been able to figure out what to do with Donna Troy.
Yeah,
she's too popular of a character to ignore, but kind of not popular enough of a character to keep doing stuff with. Like, Donna should be the Nightwing of the Wonder Woman.
Oh, trust me, Tom King will find some way to destroy her. But by the way, Tevye, yeah, so you don't like it because it's bad. Okay, give me some reasons why it's bad.
I don't even think this is much of a hot take when I say Donna Troy should be the Nightwing of the Wonder Girls.
Because she kind of is when you think about it.
Well, they don't really treat her as such, but
no, but in terms of like the way her stories go, she kind of is. They made Donna Troy into...
Troya is her Nightwing identity.
How is making her into a temporary villain a bad idea, Tevye? Give me reasons.
Yeah, the Atchison says Donna Troy is one of the most convoluted. Well, it's because they change her origin story every 5 minutes.
Yeah, you can't. Here's the thing: when you say stick to the original origin, there's been like so many, and they changed it in the original comics as well multiple times.
Yeah, whereas Wonder Woman, she kind of has like 2 or 3 different definitive origins, but it's all permutations of the same general origin, and it's enough that people have a basic idea of her origin. So Wonder Woman herself doesn't have that problem.
Basically, with Wonder Woman, it's either she was made from clay or she was the actual offspring of Zeus.
You kind of flipping out there, brother.
Oh, okay, sorry. Basically with Wonder Woman, it's either she's made from clay or she's turned, or she's the actual offspring of Zeus. That's the way it normally works.
It's one of those 2 things, made from clay or made from clay. Like I said, it's 2 different ones, but it's usually different. Maybe there's permutations of those 2. They kind of mix and match, but it's general enough that people have an idea.
Mostly because it feels lazy and just slap in the face for people like that. How is that a slap in the face, or make her into what?
Explain.
Yeah, how is that a slap in the face, Tevye?
Explain that to us, Tevye.
Because here's the thing, it's a new version of the story. That's what the new 52 was doing. That's why they even gave Wonder Woman the Zeus origin.
Yeah, and then Cameron Bailey said to do the Apartment on Fire origin.
That's fine. And by the way,
Donna, I really like the apartment. Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually really like the Apartment on Fire because this kind of adds a adopted homeland kind of element to Donna's story. Where even though she may have been 2 years old and Themyscira is all she knows, she's still technically an outsider that's been adopted. So there's kind of this Spock, like, person of two worlds kind of thing going on.
And by the way, Tevia, she did get a chance to seek redemption literally in the later part of that run. So I don't know where you're getting the information that she never got to seek redemption. I read those comics.
A very powerful man.
Alright, I got you, brother. I'll read it for you. Tevye says, it also makes Donna Troy not connected to the Titans, which was also dumb because Donna Troy's history is important with the Titans. Taking that away is garbage in my opinion. Yeah, like, it's kind of what they did with Tim Drake in the New 52.
Yeah.
Where they basically made him where he was never Robin. I thought that was really...
Well, because they said Batman's had 5 Robins in 5 years. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And even with that, do you really want her to be attached to the new 52 Teen Titans? Really?
Yeah, because honestly, it seems like nowadays they prefer to use Cassie, which is fine. Like Donna is more like Donna's kind of aged out of the Teen Titans. He's more of like Titans, more like the older crowd. Like he's more hanging out with like Dick Grayson, Starfire. Cassie is more, I feel like, for the younger ones.
Exactly, and that's a good way to do it.
Like the difference between like Donna and Cassie is like the difference between Dick Grayson and Tim Drake, in my opinion.
Atchison says, but the new 50 was a completely different universe, a different take. That was the point. Yeah, exactly. I mean, just because it wasn't like what it came before, that was the point. Now, granted, it doesn't mean it was always a good thing, as in the case of Teen Titans, but just attacking it because it wasn't like the post-crisis stuff is...
It's different,
misses the
therefore
point.
it sucks.
Yeah, exactly. New 52 times. Yeah, it was still crap. No, I don't want Don Troy connected to New 52 and Teen Titans because yeah, we know it's bad, but dude, if you want her to be attached to the Teen Titans, that's what would happen.
Well, I don't know nowadays because like we have the Titans, which is basically Titans is like the X Factor of DC. So you know, X Factor was like the original line of the X-Men, kind of thing.
Where is she?
So like that's how I see it. Titans is the X Factor because it has like the Marvel was the definitive kind of like era, and then you had like younger like the Teen Titans. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but I do.
But I'm like, that's the problem with like a lot of people when they blast a New 52. They blast it purely because it's different. Never mind if the new ideas of the stories were good or not. Granted, there were a lot of mistakes. I'm not going to say the New 52 is perfect, but I'm saying a lot of those changes, like separating Superman from Lois, actually turned out in the character's favor.
Yeah, like, wasn't it the New 52 which gave Jason his Lazarus Pit origin?
And that was the one where, because previous to the New 52, Jason was still a straight-up bad guy. This was the one where they kind of put him more in the anti-hero / hero route.
Like, I'm just gonna say the New 52 did Jason very well. Like, they actually made Jason a compelling character. Like, I actually read Red Hood and the Outlaws. It was kind of a bit of a, like, for the first 12 issues. Like, I liked how Lazarus Pit, and then he was involved with the All-Cast, which kind of calmed him down. But he's still kind of like the outsider of the group. Or like, oh, we don't like you, but we like you at the same time. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. So if people ignore like so much about the New 52, all the good stuff because of a few bad stuff. That's the thing.
Yeah, New 52 made Jason. But before, Jason was a kind of a cringe character.
He was straight up a bad guy.
This one, New 52 made him into into more of an anti-hero. Like, he's basically DC's Punisher now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like the version of Jason that people enjoy and know nowadays, like the one that was in Titans, let's say, that is the New 52 version of Jason.
Yeah, like, okay, as far as like the Starfire thing, I think people tend to like overemphasize it because like they see that one picture of her coming out of the water, and then it's like implied that Jason is sleeping with her, and like, but okay, she's a little more aggressive. Like Like, it's not my Starfire, but it's not like this tragedy, this like abomination of a character assassination.
Yeah, it's not like they turned her into a sex addict or anything like that. They treat it like they basically turned her into a corn star. I'm saying it that way for a particular reason.
They took certain aspects of her personality and turned it up to 11. It's like, you want to say it's a you want to call it a bad take? Sure. But
hey, what's up, Red?
Hi, Red. Yeah, like, you want to call it a bad take? Sure, that's valid. But it is a take. Like, it's not an abomination of a character.
And
I will say
Atchison,
this, no one talks about. I love the Red Hood version, the Red Hood of the Outlaws.
Yeah.
Calling him the recovering superhero, giving him like a trucker cap. That was actually kind of cool.
And Atchison's right. People do tend to ignore that every era has bad stories. Yeah, like. It's like what annoys me the most is that a lot of, yes, post-crisis had some fun stuff.
Sir.
Oh, a lot of people, what I notice, tend to ignore the bad. What?
You're roboting there.
Okay, people tend to ignore, like, a lot of the bad stuff of post-crisis and treat it as if it's puppies and rainbows. It was great. There was some great stuff, particularly if you're a Green Lantern or Batman fan, but it wasn't all puppies and rainbows. Hell, that's where we had Superman kissing a 14-year-old.
Yeah, and then Cameron says, Starfire was always like that. Also, to give her sleep with Roy and Jason is too hilarious. Like, Tamaranians are, like open love. Like, if you, like, I could totally see a Tamaranian that's not in a relationship, just sleeping around. That definitely sounds like something a Tamaranian
an alien.
would do. You know, and Tamaranians are very openly expressive. And then, let me just kind of get back to
go ahead.
Comment. Tevia says, Atchison, believe me, I know. Had to look at Countdown to Final Crisis. From post-crisis, that story was bad and garbage.
Well, that's where we got Amazon's Attack as well.
That just sounds like a bad D movie, I'm sorry.
It was, trust me.
And then Tevia also says, I didn't like Roy with the trucker hat. It was dumb for him, but I'm glad there are people who like that look.
Mm-hmm.
And Tevia, you're allowed.
Oh, did he just cut out?
Yeah, I think Nick may have cut out.
Oh, can you hear me?
Okay, now we can. Now we can.
All right. Where did I miss out?
You were saying Tevia, it's fair enough if you didn't like Roy with the hat.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Because we don't have to agree on everything. Lord knows me and Jared don't agree on everything.
So what other comments do we have?
Alright, we got Cameron Bailey saying, New 52 Killer Croc was my favorite iteration, and the relationship with Roy was gold.
Yeah. Exactly. People tend to ignore the good of the new. Let me put it this way. Aquaman would not be close to the beast he is today were it not for Jeff Johns and the New 52.
I mean,
why did you say that name?
That I gotta put back on. Jason Momoa made the character. I'm
no,
sorry.
but here's the thing. It's like the foundations were laid with the New 52 Aquaman run.
I don't know, because, like, going back and watching JLU, Aquaman was a really cool character.
Yeah, but no one but mainstream-wise, no one really cared. Here's the thing. The Aquaman movie is basically the Jeff Johns run.
And then Tevia asked, well, speaking of DC, that reminds me, any DCU era books you liked that you thought were good?
I mean, no, because here's the problem with DCYOU. The idea was story over continuity. So you would have like Jim Gordon Batman in like in the Scott Snyder Batman era books, but then Bruce would be Batman in like the Justice League books. So I'm like, I get what they were going for. They should have had it be an Elseworlds thing instead of like using the same creators and writers from that era. Plus, that's when you got Tomasi coming on and screwing up Superman, Wonder Woman.
I got a question for you, Jared, and I'm about to raise your blood pressure. What is your honest opinion of I Am Not Starfire?
I never read it and never plan to.
Hiding inside. I'll finally
There's
get some
your review,
answers.
everybody. That's Jared's review of I'm Not Starfire.
Yep, never gonna read it. I have no reason to, nor am I interested.
Alright, let me check back
A
in
lot
here.
of protection for the Bithia.
Okay. Cameron Bailey says, "We Are Robin was my guilty pleasure." Then Tevye says, "Yep, which was such a bad idea with story or continuity that makes no sense."
So much
Exactly.
for
And then
finesse.
Then Atchison says, "DC themselves destroyed the New 52, not having a plan, not committing to the reboot." Okay,
Yes.
Jared, I know you have a really good rant for that. Let's hear it.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the thing. That's a and by the way,
Claudia also has a word too. Just wanted to know.
yeah, that's always been like my problem with the New 52. Because here's the problem: they want me to believe that Blackest Night is canon, even though that in the New 52, really important characters of the Blackest Night don't exist. Plus, no one references zombies showing up at any point, or like the Sinestro Corps invading. But what'd you want to say, Taladia?
I'm gonna say this, right? The New 52, the way they handled it was bad towards the end, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
at the beginning, in my opinion.
Again, in terms of the not committing to the reboot, yeah, that was a problem. In terms of the overall stuff they did with it, yeah, I kind of like that. Everyone that says the Court of Owls are one of the coolest things to add to Batman. New 52 people.
Exactly. And then let's see here. So speaking of DC, any opinion on covering Gotham High, which apparently is somehow even worse than
Nope.
There's your answer, Tevye.
No.
Exactly, no. Because here's the thing,
then-
I don't cover any of the young adult stuff. I'm not interested in that.
They'll kill me if I tell you. Not if
And
I
then
get to them first.
Atchison says the New 52 had so much potential and they squandered it.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is why I say,
Pretty much.
use the New 52 as a model for the absolute universe. You're good to go.
You have an
Model
opportunity
doesn't
to
mean
do the
copy
right
everything, but take
Tell
some
me where to
elements
find the
from
card.
it.
And ambiguous gender says, yeah, that's definitely not Starfire.
But and also fun fact, the New
Beneath the Temple of Apollo, there is an
52
ancient chamber.
saved
I
DC
think
from
they
being
need them.
shuntered because what
But
happened
without one
was
of their cloaks
sales
and
were so
masks,
low
you
and
won't make it more than
allow me to
2 steps
explain.
inside.
AT&T
Where can
basically
I find
said
those
that
cloaks and masks?
let me finish. If the sales didn't improve, they were going to start licensing out the characters to other publishers, and then DC Comics itself, not movies, comics would cease to exist.
What's his name? LP.
Yeah, and
El Pino.
notice how that
I can't
conversation
be sure.
is back on the
But if
table.
he-
I know.
Idea
Well,
what
yeah,
happens.
and you know what's kind of funny? Everyone's like, I want to see what DC's gonna be like after Absolute Power. May not last, because here's the thing: there was zero interest for Absolute Power. Case in point, for Free Comic Book Day, they gave a preview of Absolute Power, and did you know that a lot of comic book stores said that no one picked up the DC Absolute Power
Tell Herodotus
preview?
what the Bithia told me
All right,
about
let me
the
catch up on the comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
He'll have some insight.
Tevye says, or Death of Superman happening, which is also important for Blackest Night to happen.
No, it's for one element, yeah, but you could have ignored it for a certain degree, because remember, that wasn't the same Superman. So why would the death of Superman occur?
Right, then Cameron Bailey says, I also liked how the New 52 connected Beast Boy to the Red. Yeah, that's another kind of important like addition to Beast Boy's lore that's pretty much now essential.
And by the way, Tevye, yes, AT&T sale didn't happen. No, but what happened was AT&T came in, said that DC, your sales are so low, find a way to get sales up, or we're shutting you down.
Identify each other.
The
Yeah.
Temple of Apollo is by the cave of Yea. Simple enough to
And then
find.
Tevye also
gave me the
said,
only clue I need.
Cameron Bailey, I
When I'm
personally
ready,
didn't like
I'll
the
meet
idea
you
of the
at
New
the
52
temple.
Beast Boy
For now,
connected to
I'm
the
going to
Red,
kill LP.
because that was such a dumb idea.
Why was it a dumb idea?
I think it's a good idea. Like, to me, I mean, it's weird because Beast Boy is green and he's connected to the Red, but that's just me being like my ADHD autistic brain spazzing out.
Well, it's because he
But,
can't be connected to the green cat because he's not a plant man.
I get it, but like my color thing, like he's green. Why is he been connected to the green? Like I get it. It's like my brain is having trouble computing it, but I totally get what you're saying. But yeah, because like the Red is the animal kingdom, and him connected to the animal kingdom, yeah, it makes sense.
Exactly. Moving on to the next area. Let's go.
Let's go.
So, alright, and then Cameron Bailey says, I never knew that. I always thought New 52 was them going, oh, we need another reboot. I mean,
Nope.
it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't.
It was partly that, yes, because they knew that the best way to get sales fast, the sales they needed, was a reboot. Because this is why unfortunately comic book companies need regular reboots, because it gets to a certain point where the continuity gets so overwhelming for new people that they're like, I don't know where to start. For the most part, it's like when it comes to, like, let's say Superman and Wonder Woman, if you showed up in 2011 and said, I'm new to this, I don't know what to read, it's Superman and Wonder Woman. It's Superman #1 and Wonder Woman #1. That's all you gotta read.
Alright, so in my opinion, I think the biggest problem with New 52 was it was kind of slapped together. Because
yes, it was.
They were doing the Flashpoint run, and then they realized, oh, this is a perfect way to redo the universe, so they kind of threw everything together, and I think that was the biggest problem.
Yeah, and here's why it was slapped together, because literally AT&T gave them practically no time to get sales up, so they're like, quick, do it now!
Which, by the way, sales were really high initially for the New 52, like through the roof. I would know. I pretty much had like 3 different issues on my poll for the first 3 years. But
yeah.
Anyway, back to the comments.
Yeah, it saved DC.
Ashton says, say what you will, but the last time there was actual excitement was the New 52 launch. It was fun times. It was. I was there. I was there in the comic book scene when that was happening. Like, I remember, literally, I heard they were doing a new Nightwing book. The first thing I did was call my local LCS and put it on my poll list. Literally within seconds of seeing the news.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, because they were taking these characters in new directions. #new direction.
I was waiting for that. And then Tevye says, okay, basically to explain, they made Beast Boy into red character, which makes no sense.
Why does that make no sense? Why does that make no sense?
This is literally the same argument I was raising earlier.
Yeah, but Tevye, he can't be green because he's not a plant character.
It's not easy being green, I guess.
Why am I not surprised?
So, Atchison says, there's no excitement now. Just a lot of whining and complaining on social media.
Yep. And DC is starting to detect that social media doesn't translate to sales. I mean, hell, here's the other thing that's really funny. I kind of came into conflict with the Wonder Woman Cheetah shippers, and they were like, oh my gosh, Tom King is gonna put Wonder Woman with Cheetah, and I'm like, here's 3 reasons why that's not gonna happen. Reason 1, DC does not acknowledge Wonder Woman as bi. If they did, she would show up in the Pride anthologies once. She never has. Option 2, if he spent many issues, and for the express reason, in his own words, of telling you why Steve is the definitive love interest for Wonder Woman. He's not, but I'll go off of that. Do you really think he's gonna pivot and put her with Cheetah? And option 3, DC is not gonna put their prime female character, even if she has gotten air quote redemption, with a furry that has eaten people. That's why.
Yeah, like if they really want it, like, because I will say this, like, making Wonder Woman bi would not be the worst thing ever, because, like, she's on an island with all women.
Very simplistic view, but okay.
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
She was raised on an island with all women, and she was given a very, like, Greek education. So to me, it doesn't make sense why she wouldn't, at least, kind of thing.
Well, the problem with that is that everyone on the island is considered either her sisters or her aunts. That doesn't work. And before you say, but it's mythologically accurate to the way Greeks were, so were the Amazons raping and murdering men. So where do we draw the line?
My argument is she was raised around, like, lesbian relationships and all that stuff. Even if she's not attracted to people, like, the idea of it is normalized in her head.
Yeah, it's normalized. She's not going to be, like, homophobic or anything like that, but personally, I do not see her as bi at all.
And that's fine. You know, it's like, remember that argument of we all have our own personal Batmans in our heads?
Yes, and Nick, I'm glad you brought that up because yes, someone came up to me on Twitter and said, "Hey, but it's based on like my interpretation of the issue. What's the harm in that?" And I said, "Here's the harm in that because too many people take their interpretation as the absolute truth instead of an interpretation, and then when it's like not fulfilled, in other words, when Tom King doesn't do that, then he gets a lot of toxic attacks levied at him because they said he was setting this up. I'm like, arguably he wasn't.
And so thus, I think we can kind of end this argument here. It's like, your Wonder Woman is straight. Mine could be bi. Both of us are right.
Atchison has a point. The thing is, the Amazons in Greek myth were not lesbians. People think they were because the whole island of only women. That's why I'm saying it's a very simplistic view.
I mean, fair point. I'm just saying how I see it. You guys can see it
I
differently.
mean, that's fine. It's just it gets a little too much on the. It gets a little too Bruce Timmey for me in terms of like the fact that it kind of is like she's sleeping with her aunts if we go off of that.
Well, then just pair her up with, like, if we're gonna have her with a different female character, just not put her with Cheetah, put her with literally anyone else.
That's what I said. I'm like, in my tweet thing, I'm like, let me put it this way: it's not about like if she's with a woman; it's about that woman.
Like literally anyone else.
If you gave me a different female character and said, hey, I could see her with this character.
Put her with Big Barda.
No. If she were... because Barda's very firmly with Scott Free, that's not changing anytime soon. But
okay.
I'm saying if you put her with practically any other woman, I'd be... For the most part, I'd be fine with it. Plus the fact, I hate the enemies to lovers trope. It's so overplayed.
I mean, it's basically... you see it in a lot of, like, female-written romance novels. I don't know why women love to write that trope. I don't get it.
Yeah, and Atchison is like also 90% of the Wonder Woman's origin. She is written as the one and only child on the. That's why it's creepy.
Okay, I got one for you. And this is going to be cross company. So hear me out.
Okay.
The Wonder Woman and Yaira.
No.
As someone who read Yaira, that Yaira is not the match for Wonder Woman. Trust me, as someone that actually read the book, that would not end well.
As the one person in the chat who's actually read the comic.
No, just
God knows what made snakes in the grass.
By the way, you do realize I say a lot of things just to get reactions.
Yeah, no crap. Yeah, Barda belongs to Scott. It's like, heck, put your floor with Dreamer. No. Dreamer's never going to be a thing, no matter what they try. Because here's the thing, it's like I checked out the minute they said absolute power. The main characters are going to be Nightwing. That's a good pick because Nightwing is arguably A-lister. But then John Kent and Dreamer.
Jared.
What?
Check the chat. Show her high.
I can smell that Malakas's stench.
check the chat. It says show a high from ambiguous.
Even ambiguous.
You could, yeah. It's just keep it ambiguous if you really want to go off of that. The problem is, like, let me put it this way. Here's how I know DC considers Wonder Woman straight. DC writers have said this because Jazia Axelrod, who wrote the really crappy Hawkgirl book, was writing like one of those coffee table books on all of the like LGBT characters of DC. And someone asked her, "Oh, is Diana gonna ever be included in any of these books or the Pride anthologies?" And then Jazia said, "Based upon my conversations with the character, with the people in charge of the character, no."
See, that's what shocks me. With all the cringy crap they've been doing, I'm surprised they've not tried to make Wonder Woman gay.
The problem, here's why, Nick. Because they need to keep, because when you have like the characters of the Trinity, like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, they have to keep them as marketable to the general audience as possible, and they can't afford to limit the marketability of the characters, particularly for a character whose IP is as weak as Wonder Woman.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's why it's from a business perspective. That's why I say they're never going to do that. They're never going to do that because that's also shown to not sell. So there's that.
That being said, I'm surprised they haven't tried to make Donna or Cassie gay
Might come in
yet.
handy.
Yeah, it's...
Those are characters we could get away with.
Cassie's too young, and in terms of Donna, they probably could, maybe.
Ambiguous Gamer, it's all good. Just try and keep the swearing to a minimum. That's all I have.
Yeah, okay. Well, in the chat, I don't really care as long as we don't say it on camera. So that's kind of fine. I'm fine with that.
All right. Well, that's your ruling, sir, and I shall abide by it.
Yeah.
Hey, this is your channel, so I just do what you tell me to.
Yes, exactly. By the way, today we passed 1,100 subscribers. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Super Wonders in the chat, everybody.
Super Wonders in the chat, people. To celebrate me spreading the good word of Super Wonder to everyone.
Well, here's a question. Cassie, do you think she belongs with Tim or Connor?
Honestly, I could see both ways, because I've read comics where she was with Tim and then with Connor. Personally, I liked the post-crisis Connor relationship a little bit more. And, I mean, really with that, I'm kind of less, like, dogmatic about that, because even with Tim is not as brutal as Batman, so it's different than like Wonder Bat.
And then John Jones says, no, DC should kill John, not DH him.
Yep.
I disagree, John. I actually really like him as like a 12-year-old. I think that kind of fills like a niche that DC desperately needs.
A niche that didn't sell.
Fair play, but I still think de-aging him to 12 years old is what I would do.
They could, but here's the problem. There's no guarantee that would sell, because every time they have brought back the Super Sons book in any way, it has gotten progressively lower sales. Let me put it this way. If the sales were so big, like if it got to like, I would say 50K to like even 100K, they would absolutely DH John. But they're not, so I think, because here's the problem with John. His origin doesn't make sense, because yes, Clark was depowered, but Kryptonian DNA is incompatible with human DNA, so it doesn't work.
I mean, honestly, that detail is just a writer's detail they can retcon out whenever they want, you know? Like, because Clark has had kids with Lois as far back as the 50s.
That was before that they established that rule. The current Superman, which apparently is the post-crisis Superman, his DNA is incompatible with Lois. So
I mean, honestly, they can just change the rule whenever they want. You know how these things are.
I do know that DC likes to change the rules when it's convenient.
All right, so then John Jones says DC can't do much with Connor because focusing on him and his conflicts would highlight the fact that. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, John, and the thing is, having John be a teenager basically makes him and Connor fight for the same stories.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. Is when you have them both at 16 years old or similar age, they're fighting for the same stories. Versus John at 12, you can do different stories.
That's why. That's again the other reason why John should not have existed, because he's redundant. You already had a Superboy.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. Connor is a much more interesting character, especially with the half Superman, half Lex Luthor.
Exactly.
And not having the full Superman power set. There's a lot of really good conflict.
Nick, they did a great issue in the. It was drawn by Francis Manapul. I forget exactly who wrote it, but there was this great issue where it was actually part of a run for Adventure Comics when Connor is is making a list trying to determine if he's more Lex Luthor or Superman. So it's like one of the items is what would Lex Luthor do? Lose his hair. So you have Connor in the mirror checking his hairline.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. I think that aspect, they really did they really did Connor well in the Titans TV show. I think they really did a really good job
they
here.
nailed it in Titans.
That show is going to be labeled as underrated, but the chat's been pretty active, so I'm trying to keep up with the chat, but they're very active. This is a good problem to have
Because they're awesome. That's why I love my chat.
Yes, that is true. Okay. John shouldn't be a teenager from the start because it was such a bad idea. Yes, I agree with you, Tevya. Cameron says John doesn't even have to be there. Like we have a superboy, i.e. Chris, he should be Clark's son. But we have to have John, just have it be another clone. And then Cameron Bailey says, agrees, Connor is best.
He is the best.
Sorry, I'm trying to speed run through these.
I know.
Really John Jones says, the only John that should exist is... Okay, you're going to really like this one. The only John that should exist is the son of Wonder Woman and Superman.
Yep. Fun fact. All right, so this is something that Britt and I had said on the show many times. The original plan, if New 52, Superman and Wonder Woman, would have continued on as Charles Soule, they would have kind of done like... I mean, it was heavily hinted by Charles Soule that the story would have been the child of Superman and Wonder Woman comes back in time to avert a catastrophe. So kind of Cable, in other words.
You know, that would be quite the impulsive decision.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're doing with that. All
right. And then, they tried to turn John into Gohan without realizing that Gohan never wanted to be a carbon copy of his father.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Gohan is Nightwing?
They only turned him to Superman because they wanted the headline of Superman is bi. That's why they made him Superman.
Yeah, and they did that because they couldn't make Clark Kent bi, because like Jared said, marketability. So they did the next best thing.
Yep, and that was the plan, and that was Tom Taylor's plan. Because they also saw
and it
that
blew
the book
up
was
in their
vomit.
face. It totally blew up in their face.
Yeah, exactly, because yes, that issue sold well just because of the collectability, but the rest of them cratered.
I don't think they'll look too kind.
It's almost like they're there for the moment, but not actually care about the story.
Do you notice how they don't give John Kent a series anymore?
Terrifying.
Because
and
he's
then Debbie
redundant.
says, Comic Thief. You know what's funny? Wayne Family Adventures actually has both Connor Kent as Superboy and Jonathan Samuel Kent as his 10-year-old self. And guess what? It was really good.
Yeah, but again, that's a different thing, Tevya. Just because it works in one thing does not mean it's going to work in the actual mainline comics.
Then John Jones says John is the son of Wonder Woman. Wouldn't need to be Superboy either.
I have a great name for the son of Superman and Wonder Woman. I would call him essentially Olympian.
Okay. I always thought Atlas was a good name for a superhero.
Yeah, but I want my character to stand on his own. Speaking of which, I have a good thing to announce. The script has been edited. It is all set to be drawn. I just have to finalize a few details with Dawson. We're going to do that this weekend. But as of this weekend, the book has begun being drawn.
I hope your editor wasn't too brutal with the script.
No, he was actually pretty good. A little old, but pretty good.
Oh. Okay, for those who don't know, I'm the one who edited the script.
He did a good job. If you guys have any books or scripts or anything that you need edited, Nick does a good job.
As a person who has read the script, I will say the script is good. Jared needed some help with formatting. I mean, it's just his first time, so cut the boy some slack. But dare I say, like, the underlying bones, I doubt I could have done much better.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was just me because because again, this is my first time actually writing a comic script. So I was like, how do I? Because here's what they really don't tell you. There are two common formats, which is Marvel style and full script, but there's no like step-by-step guide. Here's how to make a comic script.
And then there's Nick style, Phoenix style.
Yeah, exactly.
Tevye, could you catch up on the comics? I gotta step, comments, I gotta step away for a second.
And you called Taladia Tevye again, Nick.
Flip off.
Yeah, he did. Okay, so Cameron Bailey says they also tried to give Damien and Dwayne the same relationship like Dick and Wally, Jason and Roy, Tim and Connor, basically his number 2. Atkinson says it's cool that you guys are making your own comics indies of the future.
Yeah.
John Jones says there are a lot of members of the Bat family that need to leave the Bat family and become their own heroes.
Well, here's the thing also.
By the way, Creature 3 is in production, just saying.
Dope. Here's the other thing that DC keeps doing. They think that here's the other reason why having Wonder Woman and Cheetah doesn't work, because I've legit seen people say it worked for Batman and Catwoman, and I'm like, yeah, but Selina's never straight up murdered someone.
Go on.
I think she has. I can't name any specifics, but I feel like
not the current iteration, not the current. Let me put it this way: the version that Batman's with now, and also just because it works with Batman does. This is the same reason why we have 5 Kryptonians protecting Metropolis. This doesn't... Stop trying to say because it works with Batman, it'll work in general. That doesn't work.
But Jared, with enough prep time, anything can work.
Plus, here's the other thing. The very fact that Harley Quinn is considered a member of the Bat family is cringe.
I'll be sure to keep it to myself.
She has murdered children and contributed to what happens, to all the pain that has happened to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I agree. Like, they need to really bring back the Gotham City Sirens. You know, even having the Sirens be like a splinter group, like the Birds of Prey, that's one thing. But having her be like a full-fledged member of the Bat family just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, oh, and by the way, Tevye, if a lot of people liked it, how come the book didn't sell? And by hey, what's up, Luffy? Love you, dude.
So John Jones says there's a lot of members of the Bat family that need to leave the Bat family and become their own heroes. Yeah.
Because arguably there should not be 3 Bat girls.
Adjutant says the Bat family is way too full. Yeah, there needs to be yeah. And then Tevye says, except a lot of the people like the story, myself included, but that's just my opinion. Fair enough. Cameron Bailey says, what are all your opinions of Batman Incorporated?
I liked it.
I don't know enough about it to have an opinion.
I liked it. It was introduced in part of the Grant Morrison Batman run, which I kind of enjoyed. And what I liked about it also is that not everyone was called Batman. They had other characters. Yes, they were Bat-themed, but here's the thing. They were very much like... they had a couple of characters that didn't have Batman. In fact, there was this great scene in the modern one where Ghostmaker, who now runs Batman Incorporated, was kicking people out because they didn't even bother to change their name or suits.
See, my Emperor Loki says, honestly, I'm fine with Harley. I really don't care about her, to be honest. But we are oversaturated with her. See, my problem with Harley is because she's becoming such a mainstream character, they really are Flanderizing her to a large degree, kind of making her the LOL, lol, I'm so chaotic, kind of like, you know, that kind of oh, I'm so random girl energy kind of thing, and it's taking all the edge out of the character.
And Tevye, how does you liking the character make John not a gimmick charticter?
Well, okay, Tevye is allowed to like John. Let's.
No, I know. It's just what I'm wondering is because the reasoning behind John not being a gimmick is because he likes the character, and I'm like, that's not a reason though.
All right, I'm changing the subject here. So,
all right,
pairing Diana with Cheetah is just as dumb as pairing Superman with Lex or Batman with the Joker.
Exactly!
Don't give them any ideas! Do not give them any ideas!
There are people that pair John with Damien.
Let me go.
No comment.
You like to watch.
Can we just stop talking about John Kent for...
Yes.
Yep, alright, so Jared, with your permission, can we declare a temporary ban on John Kent himself for the rest of the thing?
Yeah, yes. Okay, so from now on, we're not talking about John Kent under any circumstances. Do not bring him up. Do not put his name in the chat.
No!
All right. So so basically any mention of John Kent will be ignored. So we are saying that right now. If you want to talk about something else,
Cameron has a great point. DC is basically trying to have their version of Deadpool, but Harley Quinn's not that. That's the thing.
Yeah. It's just All right, and then let's see here. Yeah, so Emperor Luffy says, all right, sorry, no, let's didn't hear. All right, let's just kind of let the band kind of seep into the chat for a moment, and then so yeah, any mention of John, we will not be reading those comments. So
We'll not be reading or responding to them.
Or
Yeah.
acknowledging.
Acknowledging, yeah.
So Jared,
Yeah, what's up?
how far are you into this right now?
Oh, this is not this is not that far into the game, dude. This game is massive.
So Emperor Luffy says, trying to put Wonder Woman in a gay relationship is not going to help her character. It would tank her character completely.
Yeah.
It'd make it far too niche. Yeah, I mean, as given what I said earlier, I do actually agree with you.
Here's the thing. That has proven in the past, like since 2016, that when you do that, it doesn't lead to an increase in sales.
Yeah.
Objectively, it doesn't. I wish it did. I really do, but it just doesn't.
See, the problem that I have with a lot of modern writers is like you take this interesting character, all of a sudden they're gay. Now that is like the entirety of their character is the fact that they're gay. And I'm sorry, your average reader, if you have a character that's gay but still does other stuff, they're still going to be interested. Like, look at the Arrowverse. Arrowverse had a lot of gay characters, and like, you know, and it was fine. But the minute you have like, being gay is their entire personality, people don't care, but it's relatability. Because a person can relate to a gay character, like, this gay character, they're still trying to catch the Flash. They're still this or that, or even like you have a gay relationship where like, this gay married couple has a lot of the same marital problems that I do. Okay, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And then Tevye says, like, Iceman turning gay was such a like, oh my god. That moment makes me so angry.
You just got Bendis.
Will expose them.
Yeah.
To the point where he had where he was being dragged through Twitter because of the way that Gene basically outed him.
I actually consider it a form of essay, but we're not going to go
Yeah.
there. So Tevye says, well, okay, new question. Speaking of characters who are gay, what do you think DC hasn't pushed Paul and Midnighter as a gay couple for DC Comics? They kind of have, but they kind of haven't.
Here's why: because Apollo and Midnighter haven't really achieved mainstream status yet. Like this way, if the Authority movie comes out and is big, I think you have a chance of that happening. And then there you go. You have an iconic gay couple there, historically gay couple there. You can hold up, and they're characters that everyone likes.
Like for example, I remember the Marvel event where North Star got married. My reaction was like, oh, cool, he's getting married. You know, because like, yeah, he was the first gay character in comics, and he gets married. Okay, cool. But Cameron Bailey has a question for us. Did y'all like Diana when she was leading the Justice League Dark?
I haven't read that run. I want to. I've heard it's actually pretty good.
You.
Sorry, I stepped away. I'm kind of making dinner while I'm doing the stream.
I appreciate you multitasking.
I'm trying, doing my best. Emperor Luffy says, Tevye, people think making characters gay for no reason fixes things when it generally does the opposite. Yes, 100% yes. And then he also says, I don't hate gay characters, but people really need to acknowledge the reality that that simply doesn't sell. It's just a fact. Yeah, I agree, Luffy. And then Tevye says, agreed.
They've done good Elseworld. They've done good Elseworld stories where Diana was gay, aka Dark Knights of Steel. Ironically, they put her with Supergirl, aka Super Wonder. That still counts.
I mean, I always kind of lift up the Arrowverse as like a great, like for example, the Flash, his chief of police was gay and in an actively gay relationship. Mr. Terrific. I mean, Mr. Terrific.
Sarah
gay,
Lance.
That too. Like literally, Legends of Tomorrow was led by a gay woman, and nobody cared.
Yeah. Emperor Luffy's talking about. Yeah, there's gonna be a Kingdom Come documentary. I'm wondering about that. That's gonna be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just they're hitting that pander stone a little bit too much.
But it's Kingdom Come. I'm fine with that. So.
You know, WB's like, we need to put a chick in it and make it lame and gay.
Yeah, exactly.
That clip is never going away from my StreamYard.
No, exactly.
But Jared, what are some other like gay characters that you like?
Let's see. Well, yeah, Apollo and Midnighter because they're badass. Nubia, in fact. Artemis is bi, so there you go. That worked. That counts. Who else?
There were people in the temple. Couldn't see their faces.
Probably. There's not a lot because here's the thing. I don't read a lot of characters. The books that I read, like Justice League and Superman and Batman, typically don't feature those characters. Batwoman, that's a good one. Batwoman. Kate Kane. I love how Kate Kane was first created. Batwoman was first created to ward off rumors that Batman was gay. And then
that was in the 60s. And, and I love how when she first premiered, she was a bit of like, oh, we're just making her lesbian, but they actually put in a lot of work to make her character interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And she's actually a really dope character.
And Tevye says, oh, look, it's Wonder Woman's brother from DC Rebirth, but as villain.
Yeah.
And then Tevye says, which technically Dreamer was a gay character too, which went into the comics way past Arrowverse popularity with Gerald badly.
My brother, Vimos. He used
Emperor Luffy says,
the man I serve.
We need people from DC to actually speak positively about Super Wonder. There's nothing but slander about it everywhere on the internet.
Well, let me put it this way. All the people I've talked about have spoken in favor of it, like David Finch.
We aren't leading the league against
anyone. And mind you, when I talked to Comic Story, and he was in favor of it, he said he didn't mind it. And in fact, he shared my criticisms of Lois Lane. Rest in peace.
And then the ambiguous gender says, what characters do you like? I'm playing.
If there are forces
in terms of what characters do I like, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman for DC, Venom, Cyclops, Emma Frost, Iron Man, and Captain America from Marvel.
Hutchinson says if this new DC universe has Superman with Lois, I'm out.
They'd be stupid for them to do that because you have an Elseworlds universe. Give Superman and Lois the crappy, convoluted as hell universe. Give us the normal, the one from scratch.
Fuck your war.
You have a duty to the Greek world.
She is my mother.
If there is one,
that would be the way to like essentially work on that essentially.
How?
But that's my concern. My concern is that. Yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
No, you were already talking. I was trying to fill the void. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. My concern with the Ultimate Universe is that there's going to be too many people that are just going to replace this because it's like essentially, hey, listen, I want to write a Superman and Lois story, but I can't because someone else is writing Superman. But I can write for the Ultimate Universe.
You've proven I can trust you.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Let's make it
can you expand upon what you like about Batwoman?
Well, because I like the idea that like she's essentially Batman, but from a military perspective. I like the idea how one of her rogues is her own father, and I like the arc when like she was trained, when like Batman had like a team that he was putting together, made up of Spoiler, Tim Drake, Clayface, and how she was like his lieutenant, and she had to choose between her father and her duty as Batwoman.
Yeah, the thing that I find most interesting is they gave her the last name of the Batman co-creator.
Co-creator, yes, co-creator.
Which I always love spouting this fact. Do you want to know the first movie to have Bill Finger credited as a co-creator of Batman.
What was it directed by a guy that is the blueprint?
It was directed by one of the greatest directors of all time. The movie was Batman v Superman.
Yes, that was actually the first one to credit him.
Exactly. I remember I was watching that movie. Like I was kind of aware of the lawsuit. When I saw that, I was actually really happy.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. Kane was kind of a dick during the whole thing, saying, "I invented Batman. It was just me."
Dear God, even Stan Lee couldn't stand him.
I love how Steranko would challenge him, going, "Yeah, Bob, tell us a story about how you invented Batman."
Oh my God, I've read that story too. It is so hilarious.
It is so funny.
He actually slaps Bob Kane at one point, and he doesn't do jack crap.
Yeah, because what could Bob Kane do? It's so good.
Bob Kane didn't have enough prep time.
Yeah, exactly! Ironically, the co-creator of Batman didn't have enough prep time.
So, my other favorite story, and Jared, you probably know this one backwards and forwards, where Bob went into the DC office.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I love this one too. Go ahead.
And so, he brought in his art, and the editor knew that he basically at this point had like a studio. Bob Kane hadn't like done any of the actual art for decades at this point. So he's like, "Oh, Bob, I need this one panel. I need the punch to have a little bit more emphasis." So Bob tried to like make them think, "Oh no, we're going to print in like half an hour or something. We need you to, there's a room over there. You can do it there." So like he actually like worked on it for like hours. He eventually paid Wally Wood like $50 to do the panel.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole crazy story there. You said King Bub, I'm mistaken, not Kane. No, I didn't!
This is where Leonidas
Old man moment!
When I've had as many old man moments as you have, then you can talk, sir.
Their final war
I'm counting them!
before every
Yeah, well, too bad.
Spartans perished.
So sad.
Their voices were silenced that day,
This is so much fun.
but their story will be sung for an
Exactly, but yeah, that was kind of an untold story that Bob, with a lot of his art, Bob Kane would pay other artists to do his own art.
Yeah, like
The
he
Battle
actually
of
has like
Thermopylae
a little kind of
still
mini
echoes
studio
in
that he
our
passed
hearts.
off as his
But to
own.
stand
He
here
had, I guess the
is to
proper
feel
term
it
would be
in your
ghost
bones.
artist.
Yeah, and the fun fact is that you know who was the editor? It was Julie Schwartz.
What for?
I need to know something.
God bless that.
In case you guys don't know who Julie Schwartz is, he's the reason why you have Barry Allen as the Flash and Hal Jordan as Green Lantern.
Joe Hyde for his message.
What?
Kevia's message is Joe Hyde.
Let me take a look at it. I vote go. It's no big deal.
Okay.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
All right, so Lois Lane or keep her around. I think it's important to
Keep
kill
her around. Keep her around. What I joke, but I would actually keep her around because I said in my How to Fix Lois Lane video, what I would do is essentially I would make it so if this was in a rebooted continuity, I would make it so Lois Lane is an antagonist constantly trying to expose Superman's identity, kind of like she was in the original comics. So Clark has to save people, but also know that like Lois is hot on his tail trying to expose who he is.
So you want Lois to dox Superman?
She did it in Heroes in Crisis.
Oh God. That's lame. That's lame, Lois.
No, in the case of Tom King, this is the one time he did something good. He wrote Lois the way she actually is.
John Jones asked, to add to your recent video on Lois, giving Lois powers is a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Because it destroys their only argument for keeping Lois around. The idea that she's an ordinary human.
Well, yeah, it didn't stop Tomasi from putting her in the frickin' Hellbat suit.
So Atchison says Barry Allen is the best Flash, but Tevye thinks Wally West is the best Flash.
Honestly, I could go either way. It depends on the story. If I have to pick, I'm gonna go with Barry just because I've read more stories with Barry.
All right. And then Cameron Barely says Lois being an antagonist is so good.
I know. I am awesome. Thank you.
I'm fine.
Thank you.
Movie Theater King says preparing for the Wonder Woman game.
That is correct, sir. That is correct, sir.
The heroes.
Yeah, and then let's see here. John Jones says, "Do you think, hey Jared, do you think Kingdom Come documentary will spark interest in Super Wonder?"
Yeah, I'm sure it will, because the more... well, here's the thing. It depends on if they bring it up. If they talk about it, then yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it is that the more people talk about it, the more DC is not going to be able to ignore it. Because already they can't ignore the fact that Superman Wonder Woman under Charles Soule was one of, if not the highest selling book of the New 52.
Oh, just watch when they make that canon and they do that in the movie. That cover is gonna be like worth a lot of money.
Yes. Before you ask, I will be homaging a lot of Superman and Wonder Woman imagery in my comic.
You understand?
You better. You freaking better.
I kind of have to. I kind of have to at this point.
You literally do, sir. It's written in like literally when I signed the contract to edit for you. I put that in the contract.
And in fact, the other thing I did, this was the last real change I made. I put in the beginning that my comic is dedicated to Comicstorian.
Good man. I did something similar with Screecher because it came out right after Kevin Conroy died, so I kind of put that in my book. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I would not be as big of a comic book fan as I am now if it were not for Benny Potter. A lot of people would not be as big a comic book fans as they are without him.
Would you say he changed the hierarchy of the comic book universe?
Yes, he did. He definitely did.
Unlike our Rocky friend, he actually did what he said.
If I ever become an artist, will you let me do a variant cover? Yeah, sure.
I
mean, well,
it depends on what you want to do with it, but yeah, if we can talk about that.
I need to find her.
Yeah, I'm always open to that kind of thing. Yeah, and then Atkinson says they just keep recycling stories and hit villains.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we know who leads them?
I don't know for sure.
You can say that a lot with like a lot of comic stuff, like
particularly anything involving Lois Lane. That's one of the many reasons why I hate that ship, because
like I'm
it's
gonna
the
be
same
honest
story.
with you,
Yeah, go ahead.
That's kind of why I dipped out of X-Men, because it was just like the same stories.
Okay, fair enough. I can see that. With me, I think part of the reason why I like that run is because I haven't read a lot of Nightwing, so I don't know it's like recycling.
Fair enough.
Do you feel the League of Assassins become boring? They're just... I mean... Do I think they're boring? Maybe to a degree.
What do you mean?
Well, she's old, and perhaps not.
I mean, there's only so many times you can do a. Oh, we defeated Ra's al Ghul. He's dead. Oh, nope. Oh, Lazarus, but bring over again.
My father taught me that the sea takes.
Only so many
we
times.
must do the same.
Exactly. And it's okay,
There are plenty
Cameron.
of pirate ships in these waters
What does
that we
Tabia
can
ask, Nick?
and take from.
What are we waiting for? Let's
Speaking of
hunt some
comics,
pirates.
that reminds me. Do you think Marvel should reboot their universe as a whole? And if so, how would you do it?
Do I think they should reboot? Yes, because both companies should, because the continuity is just a mess at this point. I would. How I would do it a lot of the, because here's the thing. Say what you want to do. Say about a lot of the ways the new Ultimate Universe has been handled. The way they rebooted it is actually pretty good. And also, just put Hickman in charge of Spider-Man because he's doing a great job.
And then John Jones asked, how do you feel about my invented Superman? Or do you find it enjoyable? Personally, I think it's cringe.
Okay, the recent episodes they did some new stuff and they played with breaking up Superman and Lois. So, but overall, I think it's one of the worst things DC has ever put out.
And they're doing the season 3.
Oh my god.
So
Why can't
Agent
James
says-
Gunn cancel that instead of Superman and Lois?
Yeah, we love that show here. My Adventure Superman, Lynn Ashton says, My Adventure Superman was literally made for the Twitter and Reddit. It sucks in its prints. Like Twitter, Reddit, like like basically the Tumblr rejects. Like,
Yep.
I'm sorry. They turned Deathstroke into a Tumblr sexy man.
Oh my god, that is not Deathstroke. And Cameron, the last time Marvel had a reboot, the closest they ever had to a reboot, because Marvel has never had a reboot, but the closest they came to it was after the most recent Secret Wars, when they brought like Miles over into the main universe.
Well, the thing with Marvel is they do their sliding timeline thing. So they don't really need to reboot because if you really think about it, like Peter currently Peter got his powers in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're going off the thing that like the current Spider-Man has been Spider for like 20 years, so basically he got it in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's just like with the Batman, where with their sliding timeline, Bruce's parents got killed in like the early 2000s. It is my headcanon that the movie they're coming out of was Shrek.
Well, too late. It's always explicitly shown it was Zorro. They could have gone to an old theater where they re-show old movies, Nick.
I'm trying to think, when did Legend of Zorro?
It could have been that one as well, exactly.
Well, that was mid 2000s. That was the sequel to the Antonio Banderas. That was 2005.
And Tevia, Heroes Are Born doesn't really count as a reboot.
By the way, if I do a Batman reboot, and if they insist on like he has to see a Zorro movie, fine. It's 97. They're coming out of seeing the Mask of Zorro with Antonio Banderas.
That's fine.
Which, by the way, I love that movie. That movie from like that movie, I love it. By the way, Jared, we need to do that for a comic club movie night. It's essentially a Batman Beyond movie.
Yes, here we can see the
Nah,
power
I can't
of the begun.
justify that. There's not enough interest in me to do that.
Darn it.
You can do it on your channel.
Tevia says, technically Marvel had a reboot during Heroes Reborn back in the 90s. Yeah, but that
Not a
one didn't
reboot.
stick. And they kind of retconned it into being like a pocket universe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because like I remember reading comics back then. Like there was a Silver Surfer comic that I read that guest starred the Thing, and he talked about like, oh, I spent this time in this pocket universe kind of thing.
Yeah. And Tevia has another point, so could continue on, sir.
He says also, if Marvel
Thank you,
reboots, they need to have Peter Parker and Mary Jane be married and have their kids Mayday Parker.
Well, that's the thing.
We knew that was coming.
Well, no. Here's the thing, though. Ultimate Spider-Man proved that's a good idea because that book sold like gangbusters.
A door?
Yeah.
Here it is.
And then Atchison says the MCU should have ended with Endgame. That's actually a very common sentiment, and I actually do agree with you, sir.
I agree because they also set it up so well to be the ending.
Get inside. I wonder if...
Emperor Luffy, I've always said this, but Lois and Clark only work when they're dating, not when they're married. Here's the thing, when I talked to Comic Historian about this, he had a very interesting point. He said the problem with having superheroes married not to non-superheroes is that it severely limits the story that you can tell. Whereas opposed if you have two superheroes together, it's not as limiting. That's why he said I like Superman and Wonder Woman.
You're not taking action.
Plus, you have like the whole, oh, if my enemies knew about me, they target those I care about.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Oh, no, Jared. Let me finish what I'm saying. You're gonna love this. And I can totally imagine him having this conversation with Wonder Woman, and then she literally just picks up a rock and crushes it with her hands. Like, do I look I need your protection.
That sounds like you would be in a cringe episode of a superhero cartoon.
The spear.
What?
It has magic.
Yeah, he's not
That's
wrong.
Super Wonder. I'm doing a Super Wonder thing. Like,
No, but you just referenced the pig episode of Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to.
Marvel likes to explore the different because DC. Here's the problem: a lot of DC fans and writers are stuck on nostalgia and the way that it was when they came in, and that's valid. The problem is you can't expect the way the characters were when you were a fan to apply or be relevant to the way these characters are in the modern day.
Yeah, it's just like with video games, like how they say the best Zelda game ever made is the one you played when 12 years old. Same thing applies to comics. The best version of Batman is the one you read when you're 12 years old.
And to be clear, no, you're allowed to like a certain era of comics. If you're a 90s kid and you like the 90s, that's fine. It's just you can't insist that Marvel and DC always reflect that.
And you know what you should do? And this is Jared's self-promo incoming. If you don't like what you see, make your own content.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, Creature is an amalgamation of, like, late 90s, early 2000s Batman era. I'm not trying to change Batman. I'm making my own kind of Batman character to see what I want to do, and Jared is doing the similar thing.
Yeah, because no one likes Tom King's Wonder Woman, so I'm like, here's my version.
So Jared, what eras of DC Comics and what are you pulling from for your stuff?
Okay, so mostly from my stuff, I'm pulling from a lot of New 52, Post-Crisis, and Snyderverse. There is some Post-Crisis that I'm gonna homage because I like some Post-Crisis. It's just most of it is gonna be like New 52, Jeff Johns' Justice League, Superman, Wonder Woman, maybe a little Green Lantern. And in terms of like,
how does a place like this
in terms of like the Snyderverse, it's basically a lot of like homages to the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Is she with you?
How would I even explain this to someone like
No, the way I would redo that line is that Batman goes, "Is she with you?" and Superman goes, "Yes."
Emperor Luffy says, comics as a whole lives on nostalgia, and it's a problem. No one acknowledges the reality. They're all stuck in their headcanon ideas of characters. Yeah.
And this is why I tell people, your headcanon, let me put it this way, headcanon's good if, like, DC does not explicitly, like, explain why something works. But the thing is, like, when you start taking your headcanon and consider it actual canon, that's where we get issues.
Headcanon is fine as long as it doesn't leave your head. Like, that's why when I've been talking, like me and Jared, like we had this concept of my version of Wonder Woman, his version of Wonder Woman. Both of our versions are valid.
Yeah.
Neither of us are wrong.
Yeah, because and that's the thing. That's why whenever anyone says this is not Superman, this is not Wonder Woman, they're wrong because guess what? Here's what you guys have got to realize. There have been many different versions of these characters over the course of their 80 years with different ideals, different policies toward killing. Everything has changed.
Remember, Batman used a gun.
And killed people. His first comic, he threw someone in an acid vat.
Your vitals are crashing.
You don't understand. This confirms it.
Oh my gosh, that's what really annoys me about. Here's the thing, I legit. The most annoying thing for me is that people think that Batman and Wonder Woman have always been a couple because they were in the cartoon, or well, not, but because that cartoon, people think that's the way DC's always been.
I don't think, have they ever, like, I think
they've never dated. They've never dated. And the only time they've ever shown any romantic interest toward each other is when Greg Rucka is writing the book, because for some reason he has bad taste in ships.
I think the only time they were actively a couple was like, what, Dark Knight's Metal or something?
Nope. A version, yes. A different version on a different Earth, Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman were a couple. But even then, here's the problem with that version. It resorts Wonder Woman to just like the damsel in distress who dies and becomes a trophy. That's why Wonder Bat doesn't work, because people either say, oh, because she can help Batman like come out of his shell. Oh, so she's Batman's therapist?
Okay, Jared, I'm gonna say something about the Snyder stuff. and I need you to at least let me finish, okay?
No!
In my opinion, when it comes to Batman and Wonder Woman in there, yes, they flirt with each other, but I think it's more of like they're just playing with each other.
Yes, that's exactly what. Nick, I'm glad you said that. That's exactly what it was.
That is why I told you to wait for me to finish, because I knew you jumped down my throat.
That's exactly what Zach said it was. Here's how I know, because he said it. He said, "Yeah." He said because I mean, in some ways, I like to play with it, but when you actually do the math on it, it's not gonna work.
And like it's obviously they respect each other. Like I'm doing physically Snyder context right here.
Mm-hmm.
I think subconsciously they both enjoy the flirting, but I think they also kind of subconsciously know it would never work.
Are you sure
you
you
know?
want to go back into the Animus right now? I get the impression
Exactly.
They might
a long time.
Yeah. Like even if Bruce or even Diana does have feelings for them, I think both of them kind of
I'm ready to go
silently
back to
acknowledge
the
it doesn't
center.
work,
All right.
but they
I'll be
still care
watching
about
your
each other.
back.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing about the comics: Batman and Wonder Woman aren't that close in the comics as people think they are. Because here's why. Here's the other reason why editorial is never going to do Wonder Bat. And it's an unwritten rule. The Bat editorial is never going to. It actually has indicated that they won't let any superpowered people show up in Gotham, because here's why. The minute you have like Superman show up in Gotham, or Wonder Woman, or even hell, Starfire in that case, Nick, it makes the other Bat characters look inadequate, because obviously Superman or the Flash or Wonder Woman could resolve half of the plots in Batman stories in like 10 seconds.
I mean, they do kind of bring in Nightfire every now and then.
Sometimes.
Nightfire is too big of a ship. 1 second, I need to mute myself.
Well, Herodotus will be happy. It's clear someone was here far before we were.
Exactly.
While Nick is doing that,
Go ahead.
Tevye is saying, Comics League, speaking of Marvel, that reminds me of any opinion on Zeb Wells leaving Spider-Man, because I'm so happy.
Thank you, God. Get that, man? Well, here's the thing, Tevye. It wasn't really Zeb Wells. They still have the same Spider-Man editor. So, really, you're like celebrating now, but the problem is it's not fixing the overall problem.
Emperor Luffy says, I think that there are some things that about the character you could say consistent. Yes, there are different versions, but you can definitely say making Wonder Woman a... I'm not going to say that.
Well, yeah, exactly. There are some things, but even the no-kill rule and the not using guns, that has vacillated throughout any era of comics. It was like,
exactly.
What really annoyed me is that you also had people saying, I hate Wonder Woman using a sword and a shield because she's not a warrior. And I'm like,
What's happened to you?
what?
What?
Yeah, legit, Nick. They're like, that. She's more Artemis. And I'm like, no. Wonder Woman is trained as a warrior.
Yeah, but, sorry, I had to get out of the phone call.
It's all good. It's all good.
Like, the Starfire Nightwing ship is just too kind of iconic. They can't really pull out, like, flat-out ban it, whereas Wonder Bat is a niche curiosity at best, and I'm being
even that, Nick,
here.
what I was more talking about is that there's a reason why they don't let any super characters show up in Gotham. Forget about just like them being in relationships with the Bat family. No, it's like they can't even show up there.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of this one issue of Nightwing where Superman appeared, and it was just kind of like, it was just crazy.
Yeah, it was jarring because that doesn't happen.
Superman appearing in Bloodhaven.
By the cult and all the Greek world.
Sounds like a fantasy to me.
I'd watch your fucking...
You didn't when
Tevye
you had
says he really feels bad
I'm
for
not
these
interested in reunion. I just want to know what you think you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing as
That's
your
the
cult.
character I'm talking
Looking
about.
for
I'm talking to
Mirini,
right now.
our
Wait, in the
mother.
Amazon
I
were
don't
using
need
a
her.
sword saying it's... Yeah, I know! It's because... And people are like, why would she even need a shield? It's a different tool for a job. She's a warrior. She doesn't always use the sword and shield.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Again, This is when you have people that don't read the comics. All they do is they pirate individual panels, or they just rely on other people to tell them stuff.
As far as the Sword and Shield thing, I don't think it's not necessarily one show. It's every time they've shown Diana, like the Wonder Woman show from the 70s, she's always used her lasso. It wasn't really until Justice League Unlimited that she used her sword.
Nope, it wasn't even in that. It was in the Justice League vs. Fatal 5 movie where they gave her the sword.
I swear she used a sword in Justice League.
If it's true they're after us, tell them
I don't remember. But even then, she used other stuff. I think there was even a scene of Wonder Woman using a machine gun.
The other long-lost child of Nicholas.
But her primary weapon in the DCU was the lasso.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not saying she has to use it all the time. I'm just saying she has it for a reason. It's the same reason why she doesn't wear the golden armor all the time. It's because it's based on the threat that she is facing.
Running around like lost children.
And then John Jones said, and 9% of the new 52, some people, who never read it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like everyone, you know, the Starfire hates for the new 52. It's like they post that one picture of her coming out of the water. Like, see, look, they sexually. She's not really even that sexualized. He's wearing a freaking bikini.
Yeah, but even on that, they treat it like it's the whole thing. Yeah, exactly. They treat it like that's the whole thing, and I'm like, what?
Try me.
Yeah, honestly, the stuff people say.
If you want to raise the point about like her sleeping with Jason and Roy is cringy, like, okay, like fair, you may like I don't agree with it, but you gotta kind of I'll agree that's a fair point.
You not to touch me.
But that's you actually gotta read the books.
Well, here's the thing. You know what's hilarious? So years and years ago, before Comics League really took off, I posted a thing on the CL Instagram. Why do you guys Super Wonder or Wonder Bat? What do you guys like? And then it's just with the Wonder Bat people, I said, well, if you read the Superman Wonder Woman book from the New 52, and they're like, there was a Superman Wonder Woman book, so they don't even know these books exist.
Yeah. And then Tevia says the cult plan is basically the Court of Owls, but in Greek.
Yeah, literally it is. Thank you. And that's the thing. It's like, and then they're always like, and then they'll straight up lie. They'll say, "Oh, I read the book and it says this," and I'm like, "No, it doesn't. I've read it probably more times than you have."
And by read, they mean like, "Oh, I saw this one page posted onto Instagram." And the wording may or may not have been edited.
My Twitter followers told me what to think about this book. That's what it is.
Was it magnificent? What happened to you?
Yeah, and then Emperor Luffy says, "Yep, all that hate is just people taking random panels out of context." Yes,
exactly. And I'm like, that's why I don't. That's why I never take what Twitter says seriously. Just never do it. You will save yourself a lot of confusion, my friends.
Unless I'm the one posting it, in which case, please still.
Unless it's coming from someone that called the Phoenix Press or Comics League or Taladia Plays or Jay or Brit. Unless it's any of us, because we know what we're talking about.
Well, if Garrett posts something, I would kind of put some salt on that one.
Are you the Lord of Comics? No, you're not. You're the Lord of Cringe, is what you are.
No, I am the Phoenix Press. I am
He's the no. He's the Lord of Old Man.
And we need to find my
yes, he is. Thank you. He's the old ancient one.
With age comes wisdom, so shut the F up.
Wisdom? You confuse names all the time, dude.
Ready for sailing!
All right, so let's
They
do
call me
one
the
more
Phoenix Press
quest.
because my takes are hot as fire. Are hot.
Yeah, let's do one more quest and then we'll call it a week.
A day.
We'll call it a Super Wonder.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's go to Athens.
Ooh.
Increase speed.
Yeah, so basically do not underestimate, because really what it is, and by the way, here's the other thing I noticed about a lot of the Tom King Wonder Woman discourse. A lot of the people have bragged that they pirate the book and don't buy it.
That doesn't help.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like they're like, I would buy it, but I don't want to support a war criminal.
Okay. How are they supporting a war criminal?
Because they think because Tom King's in the CIA, was in the CIA.
No, they'll take his comics, like they enjoy his comics. They takes his gospel, but they won't give him money because he's a war criminal.
Yeah, Nick. No one said these people make sense.
It makes about as much sense as Wonder Bat.
Thank you.
That's the first time I've heard Nick say that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm being a good boy.
I mean, it's just weird people saying too much online. Yes! Yes.
So, Atherton says, Charles Soule did a Q&A back in 2020. As someone asked him, what book that you have never got to finish would you like to come back and finish? He said Superman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's why if I ran DC now, the first thing I would do is say, you have an open invitation to come back and complete your story. Let's do it. Let's do it.
No. You say, Charles Soule, here is this ginormous bag of money. Please, this comically large bag of money. Please, return.
Yes, and you can do whatever you want. Just complete your story however you see fit. And I would even try and get Tony S. Daniel back. Yeah, because he had a lot. And you know, it's kind of funny. Anyone that talks about the new 52, they will bring up that like Superman and Wonder Woman was like one of their favorite books.
You know, if I may, like, change the topic a little bit before I go. So one of the most interesting things about the X-Men 97 discourse that I found interesting is these people judge the show by modern standards. Like, ew, why is Gambit wearing a crop top? Like, oh, why
they
is
forget
Captain
it's taking
America
place in the
an idol?
90s.
Like, okay, yeah, by 97, crop tops were kind of out of fashion.
Let's see what.
But it's a bit of a close enough kind of thing. And yeah, Captain America did not act like that. Like, if you go back and watch Captain America in like even in the show, he's pretty accurate.
That's the way he acted, yeah, exactly, at that point in the show. So that's consistent with the depiction of Cap in that show. Because for some reason, people forgot it take place in the 90s and not in the modern day.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the show is called X-Men 97.
Yeah, it's literally called 97, people.
And Cinema King asks, do you think Gunn DCU will try and break up Lois and Superman? No.
Based upon what I saw with him relying too much on the Christopher Reeve nostalgia, no.
No.
Let me put it this way.
I'm sorry.
Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
Gunn is not smart enough to do that. Because he's relying too much. Even though he says the new 52 is what got him back into reading comics.
I got a question for you. What do you think about pairing up Batman with Lois Lane?
No, because I would not want a character assassinate Batman's books. Put it with Steve Trevor, and they can both bond over how no one takes them seriously. It will be called Steve Trevor, Lois Lane, United in Irrelevancy.
All right. So we're talking about random tips. Who would you pair Jimmy Olsen with?
I mean, I kind of like Livewire, the way that they do in the comics now.
That would be quite the electrifying relationship.
Yep.
And I always knew there was a certain spark between them. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Give me another ship. Let's go. It's a fun game.
Okay. We're sticking to DC?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do something really wild. Who would you pair up Alfred with?
Oh God! Aunt May. I'm only kidding.
Actually.
That might not actually be that bad. Probably for Alfred,
any goodness.
No.
I'm trolling.
Good one. Oh, okay. He's paired with Banshee and not Livewire. Okay, my mistake.
I guess he likes the streamers. Sorry.
If he did, he'd be with Black Canary.
No, I only got to reverse.
A good crop.
Yeah, that was pretty well timed.
Burn the fields where it grew.
Because I'm trying to think of like lower tier DC characters that you don't normally talk about. Okay, Perry White. No, Perry White and Cat Grant.
Cat Grant, not with Perry White. First off, you can put Cat Grant. Well, actually, here's the interesting thing. Put Cat Grant with Lois Lane.
Cleon has turned the mob.
So you want them to?
So that is no. So that way it's half a good ship because Cat Grant's a great character and Lois is not.
Okay, I have a ship that is just so bonkers, but I have to say it.
I assure you.
Harvey Bullock.
It's fine.
Oh God.
Let them through.
And Vicky Vale.
That's not bad.
It's good to see you again, Pericles.
It would never happen. Like Vicky Vale would be disgusted by him.
Atchison, actually, Tevia says, question, would you have a Bendis come back to DC? Nope! Under no I would, in fact, have a new publishing initiative called Bendis is Leaving, where we completely get rid of every single thing he ever did.
I think you and Cleon
Oh. So if I was writing a Superman comic, like I was in like a side story, I would make a Romeo and Juliet kind of story with Jimmy Olsen and Mercy Graves.
That could be fun.
Fine.
Like it's kind of a forbidden romance kind of story.
Speaking of forbidden romance, Action brings up a good point. No, pair Lois with Lex like in Red Sun. Then the whole she's trying to expose Superman's identity also really works with that. Nice one.
I will say the fact that you like actually kind of like the idea that does make me happy.
Well, yeah, because let me put it this way: as long as it gets her away from Superman, I'm good.
I'm no one's
I would be down for and the story where they break up, I would call Superman One More Day.
Sometimes you have to play a role.
With Jimmy and Mercy?
No. The storyline where they break up Superman and Lois, I would call it Superman One More Day.
Oh, okay. This isn't really a shipping thing, but it's just a two characters meet what happens kind of scenario. What do you think would happen if Mercy Graves met Pepper Potts? Not romance, but just how they react to each other.
I don't know enough about Pepper Potts in the comics to really comment on that.
Let's pretend it's the MCU version.
I'll do it.
I don't know.
I'll expect you to use this.
Let's say it's the MCU version meets the Snyder version.
I still don't know because the Snyder version we didn't see much.
But the promise.
I think Mercy would be a formidable opponent, just like in like a Starkov. But I think Pepper would win because Pepper is actually really smart.
Mm-hmm. Actually, if there was a Superman One More Day, you can't tell me a story called Superman One More Day would not sell though.
Oh, by the way, you want to know who's going to be the person to ruin the marriage? Mr. Mapitzanik.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Mephisto.
Oh, and by the way, if I ran Marvel and I wanted to, because I've said if I ran Marvel, one of the first thing I would do is I would do a story where that restores the Peter and MJ marriage. What I would do, I would make Dan Slott write that story.
No, I would make J. Michael Straczynski do it. He deserves it.
Yes, give him a chance of redemption. I'm fine with that.
Because we all know he didn't want to write that story.
No, a lot of the stuff that he gets blamed for, he did not want to write.
One More Day is purely on Quesada's hands.
And I'm like, you hated it that much that you character assassinated your most famous superhero. Wow.
Because he wanted, like, yeah, so Spider-Man has had reboots. Like, I think certain characters have kind of had reboots. or whatnot, but not the whole entire universe.
Yeah, exactly. Certain characters have. Now, whether or not those reboots have been good is a whole nother story.
Yeah. What, you didn't like Spider Island?
Why do you have to talk about Dan Slott? That's convenient.
I mean, it's not like he can hear us. We're blocked by him on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm like, okay, you're messing out on some very nice people, but okay, you child. Yeah. If you're just gonna block me because I'm followed by Ethan Van Sciver, well, that's your own problem.
Yeah. What's a, okay, I got a question for you, Jared. What is a comic book crossover that hasn't been done yet that you want to see? And by the way, you're not constrained by company, money...
Squadron Supreme versus the Justice League. Hey, you said that hasn't happened yet!
Anything but that.
I would call it Justice League squared.
Alright, anything but that. You're not allowed to bring in Squadron Supreme.
Okay, if I'm not allowed to use Squadron Supreme, let me think about this. Which one would I do? Probably...
Atchison, I did walk into that one.
I'm like, you told me, regardless of, like, character or anything like that, so I was like, okay.
It's like a Genie and Monkey Paw thing. I should have been more careful, but...
It's kind of like Wonder Woman 1984.
Alright, just answer the question, sir.
Probably... Superman and Power Princess.
I said Squadron Supreme was off the table.
No, you said this team was not, was off the table. You never said individual members.
Every member of the Squadron Supreme you are banned from bringing in any individual member.
Okay, then say that next time.
Oh god, I can't believe I have to be so specific.
Yes, you do. You have to be extremely specific, sir.
Adjacent, I actually really like your idea. He's like a Spider-Man and Predator crossover.
Oh, hell yeah! Oh, I got it.
No,
I got it.
Raven versus Predator.
No, Wonder Woman versus Predator.
Okay.
Like straight. I know they did JLA Predator, but I'm talking about just because here's the story. I even have a story for you guys. Are you ready? Here's the story. So Wonder Woman gets word that like Amazons are vanishing from Themyscira. So she shows up there and finds out that the Amazons are being hunted by the Predator. So there you go.
I got one. Guardians of the Galaxy Aliens.
Oh yes, that could work. Jared, how do you feel about Spider-Man and Black Cat being Peter's main relationship? I don't mind it, but I kind of just prefer Peter and MJ. Let me put it this way, that's good for like an Elseworlds thing, I think.
So my opinion on Spider-Man Black Cat is it's very similar to Batman Catwoman, except a lot worse. Because say what you will about Catwoman, so Black Cat has shades of goodness, but she always goes back to her being her trickster ways. You can set your watch to it. Whereas Catwoman, she doesn't necessarily change who she is, but she does kind of become a better person. Like, she's not as much of doesn't become as much of a trickster. She's still a thief. But she does kind of soften her ways a little bit. Catwoman and Batman is a relationship I can see working long term, because both try to become better people for each other.
Exactly. That's why of the Batman ships, I prefer Batcat.
But with Black Cat Spider-Man, Black Cat is always going to be who she is. And I even think Peter's accepted that. Yes, she does care about Peter, but she's always going to be who she is.
Plus, here's the other thing. Selena likes Batman and Bruce. Black Cat has made it pretty clear that she only likes Spider-Man.
yeah, I mean, even if you take that out, Black Cat will always be who she is. She's always gonna. It's like we saw in the video game. Like, yeah, she cared, but ultimately she was playing with him. She screwed him over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of toxic in a way, honestly.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, Black Cat works as a fling, you know? Like, she's a disruptor, you know? She's like that one ex that kind of keeps coming into your life, you know, or whatnot, you know, but yeah, I totally get that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works. So I think this is a good place to leave it for this week. This was fun. So remember, next week we're going back to Batman. Again, we alternate Arkham Knight this, and then Arkham Knight. I may factor in another game. I'm thinking about that. But yeah, in terms of like, yeah, this week this was a great thing. Thank you for the chat for asking us great questions. This was really fun. Mm-hmm. And Nick, where can we find you, and what have you got coming out on your channel?
All right, so tomorrow we're going back to the past as usual, and we're on the Friday Night Frenzy at 6 p.m. EST. We're talking about the internet of the late 90s, early 2000s, like compare and contrast what's different and whatever. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be playing some Witcher 3. That'll be pretty freaking awesome. Tuesday, got my Monday, got my House of the Dragon stream, and then Tuesday, we'll be playing some Majora's Mask. You guys seem to really like it this time, so we're just making that the Tuesday game.
So you're telling me you're going to be playing a game of Thrones?
On Monday, I will be.
All right. Hey, Taladia, but I need more Super Wonder shows. Oh, trust me, you're gonna enjoy the episode coming out this week. But so Taladia, where can we find you, and what have you got coming out on your channel?
So you guys can follow me on Twitter at TaladiaPlays_, and you want to check me on YouTube, it's at TaladiaPlays. Whatever coming up is on my YouTube page. I will be posting on a channel update video, giving you guys an update of what I've got planned for the next 12 months in terms of content going forward. I will also be doing My Adventure with Superman, Season 2, Episode 6 with Jared, as we react to the episode. And then next week is Snyder Fans Read Comics, and there'll be more Super Wonder discussion and whatnot. So John, if you really wanna watch stuff like to do with Super Wonder, then come over to my channel. That's the place to be for stuff like that.
Hell yeah. And for me, so this week we're going to be covering for Movie Night Blue Beetle. Under Two Capes this week is going to be, I'm going to have my friend Robert on, and we're going to talk about the Brad Meltzer / Dwayne McDuffie era of JLA. So that's coming out tomorrow. Super Wonder a Legacy, Britt and I are gonna go do a deep dive into how DC has mistreated the character of Superman. And let's see, what else? And then commentary, I'm working out what I want to do for my next commentary, but I will be sure to update you guys as soon as possible. If you guys are interested in receiving content early, please consider becoming a member. It'll be right, the join button will be right near the subscribe button. And you get the commentary stuff early, plus we're going to be doing a lot of other stuff on the Comics League Discord for members. So be sure to keep in touch for that. Anyway, stay heroic. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. Zois and Maxabat for life. See